When we show this slide, we ask a question around, if you're being really honest, which ones of these words come into your mind when you see that image? And so lots of these words, people will say they automatically think of gangs, they think of media hype, they think of this immigration problem that Australia has, just by seeing an image of the Sudanese population, and specifically in the community in Melbourne. So what we're sort of saying is it doesn't make us racist, but it does actually limit how we think, and it can change the decisions that we make. And the way that this data is then presented becomes really interesting. And for you guys who present data regularly to coaches, this is how the data is presented in Australia currently. So it basically says that when you look at the population of Sudanese in Melbourne, they're disproportionately represented in terms of crime. But this same data set can be presented this way. Where New Zealanders and Aussies commit just as much crime, but they have a much bigger population base in Melbourne. And most of the Sudanese that live in Melbourne are between the 15 to 25-year-old age group. So this is really about men between 15 and 25 commit most of the crime in Melbourne, physical crime. But the government often present it this way. And in our media, it's presented here as a significant problem. But actually, the Australians and New Zealanders commit a little bit more. So how we present the data really depends on the story we want to tell. And I think it's really interesting for you guys as analysts to think about, well, what's the story you want to tell? What bias are you actually overlaying on the data as you present it? And